Emtel has been in existence for 27 years. The telco market has been a mature one in Mauritius for some time now. What are the challenges of operating in such an environment?
One of the challenges is that the size of the market remains limited, and the population is almost fully penetrated as far as mobile penetration is concerned. And there are very few areas for which where mobile penetration is not there. In fact, we are at 131% mobile penetration. So that's one of the challenges. But at the same time, we also take it as an opportunity to do other things.
So how do you grow inside a market that is so well serviced, should I say?
Yeah, so how we grow in this sort of a market is, more on innovation, and we look into the future technology, and data is something which is now on the uptake everywhere, and that is something which we are looking at. So while the traditional revenue streams may be not growing to the expectations, but with the innovation, which Emtel is always at the forefront, we will definitely be able to get where we want to in our business goals.
So in the coming years, for example, the coming month, if we're talking very short term, what can we expect from Emtel in terms of innovation, in terms of new strategies, in terms of new products?
See, as far as the network is concerned, it's almost, it is in fact 100% 3G network, and we are upgrading it to 4G, of which some expansion will take place this year. So we are enabled for all data users to provide our services. We also have the airbox, which gives fiber to the house over the air. So with all these things, we are definitely geared up to match the data requirements. And innovation, if you see, over the last few months, we have done a lot of innovations in terms of voice. We have given some packages where you can, for as low as 39 rupees, you can talk endlessly for the whole day on Emtel network. Then even in terms of affordability, we have in fact only today introduced across all networks a call at 1 rupee, which is again an innovation. So we are all the time innovating on new products, and also we had the Wi-Fi Plus, which we launched just about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So like this, we keep innovating and coming out with new things.
One of the, I would say, root trends these past years has been the convergence of voice, of data, internet, and television. Offers like that do exist on the market. How is Emtel operating in this setup?
See, if you see, we are geared for all three. In fact, we are there in the voice business, we are there in the data business, and also we have a tie-up with Canal Plus, rather with MC Vision, and through them we can provide content as well. So we are geared up to provide all three. In fact, if you take a Canal Box connection today, so you will get internet, you will get Canal Plus TV, and you have your voice as well.
It appears that for both public and private telco operators in Mauritius, profitability in the sector has been quite a challenge, since it's taken a downward trend for everybody actually. Why is that so, and how are you coping with that?
See, one is, I think the operators themselves are also responsible that the prices here are very low, and we keep competing each other in a limited market, which impacts the profitability of all the operators. That is one. And the inbound roaming traffic, which was one of the big revenue factors for mobile operators, the rates have got diluted a lot over the last few years. So due to that, that revenue stream has ceased almost to exist as the way it was. But then there are certain ways in which you can increase your profitability, which is by bringing in efficiencies into the system, reducing your costs, reducing wasteful expenses, and making sure that the bottom line is maintained.
So this would be your strategy to maintain profitability, or actually increase it, to right size, to look at your costs, to recenter around activities that are more profitable than others?
Yeah, see, one is the revenue, of course, growth has to be there. So that is the first thing. You have to drive the top line, you have to maintain your OPEX or the operating expenses, and look for new revenue streams. Like we launched FTTH a year ago, which is contributing to our revenue. We launched Wi-Fi Plus, which is again improving our data revenues. So like that, you have to innovate new revenue streams.
You mentioned previously that you believe that prices are low, that there has been a price war, I'm using the word, that has been on for quite some time. But actually, when we turn to consumers, they tend to delve on the fact that the cost of a call, a phone call over mobile is still quite expensive for them. And they also complain about the fact that there are just 3 mobile telco operators in Mauritius, and there's a lack of choice for the consumer. How do you respond to these kind of criticisms?
See, in fact, to take the second part of your question first, I think already 3 is too much for a population and country of this size. If you have more operators, we are already talking about profitability for the existing 3. If you get more, there will be no space for the operators to operate in, and the profitability will be very severely impacted. So I think 3 is also a bit on the higher side for a population of this size. And if we see the statistics across the world, this is the right size. You don't need more operators than this. And as for the other thing you're saying about for the voice, well, that's how we are innovating. Like some other thing I mentioned to you, we have this Koze pack where you can, for 39 rupees, make unlimited calls. We have now done this recently, AVEC, which is 1 rupee across all networks. So you have to innovate and see so that the consumer, if he wants less, he has to pay a little more, but then he gets very affordable rates.
There have been quite fundamental changes at the consumer end in terms of data consumption, in terms of the ways that they use their mobile phones. Take, for example, what WhatsApp or Viber has done. People don't use text messages anymore, or they use it considerably less, and they use Viber or WhatsApp to send messages, to send videos or photos. How do you adapt to this kind of fundamental consumer change, behavior change?
Yes, like you're saying, is absolutely correct. So this again is one of the factors which is impacting the profitability of the operators with these services coming in. So how you adapt to that changes, like we try to get them more on internet, getting data, other kinds, so that you're not dependent on the voice calls alone to maintain your profitability.
On a more personal note, you've been at the head of Emtel for a little bit less than a year, stepping in after Shyam Roy, who has been here for quite a number of years in the CEO position. How much of your style, how much of your ideas, how much of your strategy has seeped into Emtel during the past months?
Well, I would say, change is inevitable and it's a part of life. One has to accept change. Things have to change. In fact, they say the only thing permanent about life is change. So that is something which you have to accept. And how you adapt to the change, it's not only for the team here, it's even for myself. How I adapt to the change which I have come in is what really makes a true leader and makes an organization grow. And what I would say has changed or you want to bring about is, I think there is more energy in the team, there's more innovation going on, we are faster to the market, and I would say our go-to-market approach has changed then from what it was in the past.
You've had extensive experience in India, in the telco sector, also in consumer goods, Pepsi, Coca, etc. How was your entry in Mauritius? How did you feel that you stepped in a completely different environment with different behaviors, with different people, or are the basic rules the same and the adaptation went on quite well, as opposed to what you would have felt or what you would have experienced had you changed worlds completely?
India, I've been out of India operations for a while. I was in Africa. In fact, my recent stint, I'm coming from Rwanda. And one has seen a lot of the African market, which is still developing. And also I worked in a similar environment of Mauritius. I was in Seychelles, so which is similar in many ways over here. And one has to adapt to the way the market is. And like basically the requirement of people is to communicate. You have to see which is the best way that you can make them communicate at an affordable price and giving them very good quality. So that fundamental doesn't change of the requirement. It's just how you adapt That's what you need to see. We have covered most of the things. I think Mauritius is a very exciting market. And if you see for the country of its size, what is the GDP compared to African countries, the development, the infrastructure is very good. And I'm sure that it is a market which will surprise the rest of the telecom world in terms of the growth of data and others as it goes.